Have you ever wondered why you feel like an emotional roller coaster, sometimes on top of the world, and other times sinking into sadness without anything really causing it? Or maybe you've noticed that you can walk into a room feeling fine, and suddenly you are super overwhelmed, picking up on everyone's emotions like a sponge. Well, it's not random. It is simply your solar plexus center in human design, the emotional center that literally sets the tone for how we feel, connect, and express ourselves. Today, I'm going to break down what it means to have a defined versus undefined solar plexus, the real truth about emotional waves, how this center impacts relationships, stress, and even your purpose, and the biggest mindset shift that changed everything for me and how I handle my emotions, including drastically improving my relationships. So stay with me until the end because once you understand the center, you will never look at your emotions or other people's the same way again. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Nina Elise. I'm an embodiment and growth mentor and a human design specialist. I teach you how to understand your brain, your body, and emotions through the lens of human design, mindset work, and nervous system healing so that you can finally feel at peace, stop second guessing yourself, and live a life that feels like yours. If that speaks to you, hit subscribe so you never miss a video that helps you get clear, grounded, and back in your power. If you are new to human design and aren't sure if your solar plexus is defined or undefined, you can pull up your free chart at nina-elise.com/chart. So just pause the video, grab your chart, and then come on back. The solar plexus is the larger triangle-shaped center on the right part of your human design chart. And this is the emotional center of the body graph. It is both an awareness center, meaning it processes feelings, sensitivity, and fear, and a motor center, meaning that it generates energy that drives us. Biologically, it is tied to the nervous system, the pancreas, the lungs, the kidneys, and even digestion. That is why emotions are so physical. You cry, you shake, you get butterflies, or you feel sick to your stomach when you are emotionally overwhelmed. This center is the most intense out of all of the 9 centers because it governs the highs and the lows of the human experience. There's joy and despair, there's passion and pain, there's guilt and forgiveness. It's where we learn how to process feelings and how to connect with others and ultimately how to find emotional clarity. Let's start with the defined solar plexus, about 50% of the population. If this center is defined, then it is also your inner authority and how you make decisions. So pay close attention because this will help you understand yourself more and how you can make the most aligned decisions for yourself. With a defined solar plexus, you have a consistent way of experiencing emotions. You ride what is called the emotional wave. So you'll have periods of highs and lows and plateaus that are yours, no matter what is happening externally. So this means that your clarity doesn't come in the moment. Your authority is emotional. So you need to wait out your emotional wave before making really big decisions. But the shadow side is reactivity. If you don't know how to sit with your emotions, you can be super impulsive. So saying or doing things in the heat of emotion only to regret them later, or making decisions without full clarity. This was me for years, reacting, blaming, and thinking my emotions defined me. But when you learn how to observe your wave, it becomes this really deep source of wisdom. It fuels art and storytelling and music and empathy. It's what makes us beautifully human and carries so much depth. There's also a really huge responsibility here. If you are defined, you set the emotional tone for everyone around you. As soon as you walk into a room, people with undefined solar plexus centers will feel your emotions amplified in their bodies. And if they are not aware, they will think that your emotions are theirs. It is your responsibility to inform those around you how you are feeling, not so that they can judge you, but so they can support you while also giving them space to not take on your emotions. Just know that how you handle your emotions doesn't just impact you, it impacts everyone in the room. I'm going to share a little bit about my own experience with having a defined solar plexus. And honestly, it has been probably one of the most challenging and fulfilling parts of my design to work with. I have a lot of gates here and two manifestation channels that go straight all the way up to my throat center. So I carry a ton of emotional energy. When I first learned about human design, it felt like such a relief. I thought, oh, this is why I'm so emotional. This explains everything. And while that gave me validation, for a really long time, I actually used it as an excuse. I just told myself, I'm just emotional. This is just how I am. But the actual truth was that I was so emotionally dysregulated and reactive. I dumped my emotions on people and my friends, and I simply just didn't know how to sit with my feelings. I was actually really terrified of my emotions. And it wasn't until I had a spiritual awakening in, I think, 2022, one of those dark nights of the soul moments, that everything shifted. And I realized for the first time that I had to take full responsibility for my emotions, my thoughts, my beliefs, instead of just blaming them on other people. And that was when I started practicing pausing, observing, and sitting with my emotions instead of allowing them to control me. And that is the wisdom of this center. You are not your emotions. You are the one experiencing them. And in order to get familiar with my emotional waves, I actually tracked my emotions and thought patterns around them for an entire year. And while I didn't see any obvious patterns with my emotional waves, I did realize how much of what I felt was tied to old beliefs and conditioning. And over time, as I learned to sit with my wave without needing to fix it or trauma dump on others, and that my emotions, fueled by my thoughts, were actually separate from my emotional waves. And that is what changed everything for me. And lastly, your emotions will always follow a wave. There are different types of waves depending on the channels that you carry. Some are high to low roller coasters, some are very subtle and slow building, some have spikes. I will share the waves for each channel here on the screen so you can see how they process based on the gates and the channels in your own chart. The key to your emotional wave is this: never make decisions at the peak or the valley. Always wait for emotional neutrality. Basically, just wait until you have experienced the high and the low of your wave before saying yes or no to something. And it could take as little as a few hours to a few months for bigger decisions. And the best thing that you can do is just to start paying attention and simply pausing before you actually make decisions until you start to get more familiar with how your emotional waves work. And now the undefined solar plexus, the other 50%. You don't always have a fixed way of processing emotions. Instead, you feel and amplify the emotions of others. This makes you incredibly empathetic and attuned to how people are feeling. But it can also be very overwhelming. You might take on someone else's sadness, anger, or joy and think it's all yours, and then use your energy to process other people's emotions. And this can leave you feeling super drained and exhausted. So make sure you pay attention to how you feel around certain people. The shadow here is people pleasing and conflict avoidance. You may find yourself keeping the peace at all costs just to avoid the discomfort of emotional intensity. Learning to set healthy, energetic, and emotional boundaries with people is where your wisdom lies. It's also not avoiding conflict or emotions. It is learning how to be with them while also setting healthy boundaries. So, this could look like communicating that you need space, sitting with your own fears and emotions, or just taking a temporary break from people until you feel strong enough to hold space for bigger emotions. And this is the wisdom of the undefined solar plexus, just being a role model to others. Emotions are not your enemy. You are simply learning how to be around them without taking them on and processing them as your own. The true wisdom of the undefined solar plexus is discernment. When you can pause and ask, is this actually mine? You unlock emotional clarity and intelligence, which means your practice isn't to ride emotional waves. It's to let it move through you without attachment. If you take away anything from this video, I want you to remember this. You are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. When you identify as, I am emotional, whether you are defined or not, you become reactive, defensive, avoidant, and a victim. But when you shift to, I am experiencing emotion, but I am not the emotion itself, that is when you can really reclaim your power. For defined people, that means waiting for clarity. For undefined people, it means boundaries and release practices like journaling or meditation or simply taking space alone. The gift is when you embody this, you actually free others too. You give them permission to feel what they feel without shame or projection. And if this is landing, don't forget to subscribe. I share deep dives on human design so you can really embody this work. You can explore your solar plexus and all of the other centers more deeply in your personalized human design PDF aligned by your design. Just comment align below and I will send you the link. To go even deeper into your human design and learn how to manage your emotions in a healthy and empowering way, you can book a one-on-one human design reading with me. The link is right here on the screen and in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, you can watch more videos on the solar plexus. I will link a playlist right here so that you can dive deeper. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it with a friend who needs to hear this today. I'll see you all in the next one.